Hey everybody, I was sitting here thinking about something that's just kind of more venting than really thinking about anything. I was watching videos about home improvement and thinking about the place that I live now, which is a home that I don't own, but just been doing some repairs to the house, and because the house had been inhabited for about 30 years or so by the previous tenant who just got too old to take care of the house. And there was a lot of things that were in disrepair. Basically, every single room, like literally every single room, had something wrong with it. And not just something that I didn't like taste-wise, something that was either structurally wrong or functionally wrong. And we made a bunch of repairs and, invested a bunch of money and everything. And it's just annoying because I know that because I don't own the property, it's kind of like I'm investing in something that I don't own. Now we are in plans to buy the property, but in this stage it's weird because I still have to live there, and it's frustrating because I don't want to live in a place that's not a good looking place. And not saying that it's not a good looking place. It doesn't look like how a home that I'd be comfortable in looks. And I think that it's kind of worrisome and bothersome because I want it to be better. I want it to be a home. So I don't know, it's frustrating because I'm watching these videos and it's so much stuff that I want to try and big projects and willing to invest a lot of money, and it's just frustrating because I know that in addition, and here's the other reason kind of why I even attempted to make the repairs that we did do, was because, and it kind of goes along with a theory I kind of had, that a lot of people don't show responsibility, I guess, or accountability, or whatever, what have you, because they haven't been given anything to be responsible or accountable for. So I didn't, when I was renting all that time, and even renting now, you still want to have a nice place, so you take care of the things that are a nice place. But if there were something structurally wrong previously, I might have just reported it to the landlord and kind of just left it as that, like not took any further initiative. But as something that I'm looking to own, if there's something structurally wrong, I do take that initiative, knowing that if I leave it alone, it could get progressively worse and be a bigger issue down the road. So I think about that as I approach the different things that I wanted to repair. And the reason why I did it, getting back to that, was because I didn't know how to do so many things before we got into the position of, yes, we'll take on the responsibility of maintaining the structure. I wasn't aware how to do much electrical work at all. I had a background in low voltage. I've done low voltage for a bunch of years. Alarm systems, cable, internet, TV, stuff like that. I've done that a million times, running wires and installing networks and stuff like that. So I have a loose understanding, but coming to the house, I knew that I wanted to make some changes with the electrical, and I knew that I wanted to learn how to do those things as well. So it wasn't going to be something that was going to be too tough for me to do, but it was still something that I wanted to, take care of. And even in doing that, it kind of gave me some confidence for trying other things. So I tried the electrical thing. I changed the wall outlets. I changed the light fixtures. I took down ceiling fans and replaced it with light fixtures, and all this stuff I just took a step at a time. And I watched a ton of videos, and I read a lot of materials, a lot of books, looked at a lot of diagrams on, how the lighting flows. And it kind of made sense, in in regard to the flow of electricity and how it goes from start to finish, and how you terminate and bring it back on the neutral and all that stuff. And it made sense to me. So there was an issue with the taking down the ceiling fans. I couldn't figure out how to get the light to work on a switch again. So I had to do some research for that, and it took me a couple months, because I tried at first, and it was not a good look. It was not wired properly, so I had to go back and fix a bunch of things. But after a while, I just sat there and I thought about it. I took it back to, just to start, took everything apart, and I tested the wire, found out where my wire from the breaker was and all that stuff. And once I figured it out, it made a lot more sense, and I was able to change all the other outlets, just thinking on the flow of electricity. But I wouldn't have been able to do that had it not been for having the opportunity to say, well, okay, I want to see how this works. And at the house there, I mounted 2 of the 3 TVs there. Well, I mounted 3 TVs there in the house. And while I had done it before, but I had never done, like at a house. I did it before with a friend of mine with the business that we own. And when I was at the house, I again did a little bit more research, and I just kind of step by step and kind of figured it out. And I was able to do all 3. And the last TV I did, it took me probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes to mount the TV. So, it was really, really cool. And, I'm thankful that I have the opportunity. But the frustrating part is that I'm getting to the point where now I want to make big structural changes. And I know I can't do that, and I shouldn't do that, and I won't do that until we actually own the property. And that's the part that's the frustrating part. The frustration is that it's not really like a frustration with anyone except for myself, because knowing me, I kind of should have gone ahead and locked down the purchasing process a little bit earlier before I started making these changes, because I know how I operate. If there's an opportunity to make anything better, myself included, I take those opportunities, and I don't like to wait. I'm not very patient in regard to waiting for changes that are beneficial, changes that help. So I thought about those things, and I knew that I wanted to make big changes structurally to the house. So, I mean, there lies my frustration, because I know that it'll look better. I know I'll feel better once it's done, but it doesn't make sense to do it now, because God forbid, should something fall through on the house, then what? I'm in a bad position. So it's kind of like, how much am I willing to lose, kinda, should everything go bad? And I want it to look nice. So I don't know. And it's not an overall loss. It's just right now I'm really antsy because it's summertime. The weather's nice. People are outside more, and the more I'm outside, the more I see the things that I want to change, and the more that I'm inspired to do that and motivated to do that. So that's just the tricky part about it all. So I don't know. That's pretty much what's on my mind for today. I imagine that I'll calm down, because I kind of talk myself through it. I'll calm down. I won't make any big sweeping changes. I'll just make some projects that are independent of, the house, that kind of still bring me joy, to keep my hands busy, to keep my mind occupied. So that's my thoughts for today. Feel free to email or write in if you have questions, comments, concerns, because I like to hear from people. I don't get a chance to hear from people every day. So I like to hear from people, to know what your thoughts are, what your feelings are in regard to this podcast in specific, or the podcast series as a whole. But till next time, I guess I will talk to you guys later.